All right, let's move on to chapter 12. Help other people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. The most important justification for being in business is service to others. Every new business must be built upon this premise, since wanting to make money or desiring to dabble in a favorite pastime is not enough to sustain such a venture. The business must fulfill a need. Everyone's job should focus upon this goal. So, as leaders, our first concern must be helping others. And it follows that if your attention is directed towards helping others, you will be rewarded. That works out nicely, doesn't it? I like to remind independent sales directors of this truth when they ask me to autograph $1 bills as an award for their independent beauty consultants. Next to my name, I write Matthew 25:14-30, which is the parable of the talents. It tells us to use and to increase whatever God has given us, and that when we do, we shall be given more. I deeply believe in this philosophy, and I've always applied it throughout my business career. When Mary Kay began, I wanted to create a company that would give women an opportunity to accomplish anything they set as a goal. It was equally important to create a product that would help people. Our skincare products do help women look beautiful on the outside and feel beautiful on the inside. I believe that if these two dreams could be accomplished, we would be successful. I believed so strongly that helping others was the most important motivation for starting a business that I completely ignored the advice of both my accountant and my attorney. My accountant looked at the financial projections and said, Mary Kay, your commission schedule will never work. It's only a matter of time before you'll be bankrupt. My attorney said the same. Mary Kay, you have no experience in the cosmetic business, and you are a grandmother. Don't throw your life savings away. They were my financial experts, so I attentively listened to their advice, but I decided to go on. I wasn't being stubborn, far from it. I simply believed so strongly that helping others was a valid principle and that I was willing to stake my entire future on it. Then and now, everything anyone in the independent sales force does to succeed is based on helping others. Beauty consultants help customers, and sales directors help their team to succeed. Our culture encourages each person to help others in order to climb the ladder of success. The individual who thinks only, what's in it for me, will never make it in our company. We truly believe that if you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. In my view, the people who are the most successful are those who have helped the most people grow. A Mary Kay independent sales director is cheering for every woman in her unit to succeed. She shouldn't fear that someone on her team will outperform her and thereby threaten her career. In most businesses, this is not true. Often the success of a worker can lead to his replacing his own manager. I know the manager of a local insurance company who lives in constant fear of this prospect. He knows that since he is in his late 50s, he would have a difficult time relocating elsewhere. The company's philosophy is to hire only one manager in a given market, and they insist upon promoting from within rather than transferring someone from another territory. While the manager has always liked the idea that his company would never transfer him or move in someone to replace him, he now has two young star performers who want his job. Consequently, he does his best to discourage them from leaving sales and seeking managerial positions within the company. I suspect that in order to protect his job, he would even harass them to the point that they would resign. It's unfortunate when a company puts its people in such a position. In the long run, everyone loses, including the company. While there are still options, smart people should avoid entrapment and seek a company that encourages its people to help one another, thus enabling everyone to find fulfillment in his or her work. Today's woman manager is often painted as thoroughly calculating and absolutely ruthless, clawing her way up the corporate ladder and stepping on everyone in her path. Sometimes she is said to behave in this way because she feels insecure in a man's world. She's always on guard, always feels threatened. I think this image is unfair to women. Unfortunately, because it's still rare for a woman to be promoted faster than a man, everything she does in her job is accentuated. In my opinion, a hostile company environment will bring out undesirable qualities in both sexes. When a woman plays by the rules that men have set, as she usually must, her behavior is observed more carefully. But a woman is not supposed to behave like that, you might hear from men as well as women. To whatever extent such criticism is justified, I blame those companies that encourage dog-eat-dog behavior as a matter of policies. Nice guys finish first. Nice guys finish last. That familiar adage, immortalized by the late baseball manager Leo Durocher, implies a correlation between being nice and being a loser. Many people believe this cliche simply because it's so often repeated. Unfortunately, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. The media has distorted the image of modern business leaders, focusing on sensational exposés of white-collar crimes. The wonderful philanthropic deeds of our business leaders too often go unreported. Newspapers eagerly print the latest scandal on Wall Street, but ignore the tremendous contribution to the town library or public park. Movies and television still perpetuate the image of the ruthless mercenary cigar-smoking businessman. Consider the managers portrayed in most movies. Loudly and clearly, the message comes across. Success and decency don't mix. Is the bad guy who manage businesses, but bad guys that manage businesses in America, with or without smoking cigars. Consider the manager's portrayal in most movies. Oh, sorry. Ask the man in the street for his opinion of business leaders, and his remarks are likely to be uncomplimentary. Yet ask him if he personally knows anyone who's headed a successful business, and you may hear, yes, I know the president of ABC company. Oh, okay, what kind of person is he? Oh, he's a great guy. Anyone else? Oh, the chairman of the board of XYZ company. He's one of my favorite people. And so, regardless of personal experience, the American public still perceives those who have climbed up to the top of the corporate ladder with an unflattering abstraction. I believe this distortion of truth is a distortion of truth. And I personally know dozens of highly successful CEOs of major corporations, and the majority of them are honest, compassionate human beings. I truly believe that decent people are far more likely to succeed in business, yay, than scoundrels or bullies. A leader who mistreats people will end up managing a workforce of unmotivated, unhappy, and negative people. And as their leader, he isn't going to make it. A good leader's success is reflected in the success of her people. I can tell you that at Mary Kay, a selfishly motivated independent sales director will ultimately fail. To succeed with her business, she must think in terms of what's good for her people, not herself. If a sales director tries to manipulate people, it's a sure bet that sooner or later she will fail. Her success, like the success of any leader, rests squarely upon the success of her people. Only by truly caring for her beauty consultants can she make them want to improve their performance. And if they don't want to, they won't. It's as simple as that. While both men and women are strongly motivated by a caring leader, it's been my experience that women generally respond more quickly to this than do men. Perhaps it's a woman's sensitivity that makes her more responsive to caring treatment. She may be more likely to react from the heart rather than from the head. Love, not profit, has often caused her team to display immense loyalty to her deserving sales director. For example, a new sales director suffered serious personal problems for 2 consecutive months, resulting in a production decline. Unless the sales volume in the 3rd month improved, she was in danger of losing her sales director status. To make matters even worse, this occurred during January, when a record-breaking cold spell had kept everyone housebound. By the end of the 3rd week of the month, her sales production fell short. This sales director is a delightful person who is loved by the women in her unit. Knowing the serious consequences if that final week's production fell any further, 2 of her beauty consultants took the initiative to call the other women in the unit. They explained that if everyone cooperated and did her share, the unit would remain intact. So out of deep loyalty to that sales director, the entire unit worked together to increase the unit's production. Strong motivation of this sort, stemming from loyalty, often surfaces when fellow workers have strong emotional ties with their leader and that they respect and like. I emphasize the word like, because obviously people won't rally around a leader in trouble if they don't like her. Loyalty isn't something a leader is automatically given. It doesn't go with the territory. It must be earned. So when times are tough, the person who isn't liked will not get the needed support from their team members. Instead, they may be rooting against him or her. It's important to realize that being a nice guy doesn't mean that a leader is nice because he or she says yes to everything. A good leader must be able to say no when that's the only answer. But he should be tender as well as tough. For example, he can't award unwarranted salary raises merely to increase his popularity. But he cannot deny a request of a raise with loathsome accusation. Not only will I not grant you a raise, but I don't even think you're worth what I pay you now. A better way to deny such a request might be to weigh the person's productivity against the company's needs and tactfully deny the raise on the basis of performance. Some people have a knack for saying no so considerately that the person to whom it is directed is not in the least offended. These leaders might even add a touch of encouragement, such as, let's sit down and review what you should do during the next 12 months to merit that increase in salary. Some leaders avoid saying no because they don't want to hurt anyone. They do nothing, hoping that the problem will somehow disappear. But trying to avoid confrontation by giving in to people is not what good people management is all about. It's a sign of weakness. Perhaps those nice guys do finish last. Within well-operated and growing corporations, good leaders can only prove their worth by helping others. Ideally, advancement in such companies result in growth opportunities becoming available as jobs open. Consequently, good leaders must develop good people to fill vacancies due to promotions, as well as those that are newly created. In this sense, a leader's success is reflected in the success of his or her people. I believe the passage in scripture that reads, "To whom much is given, from him much shall be required." A good leader knows that his job to help others within the organization, that it's his job to help others within the organization. He also knows that the best way to help others is by making them strong so that they can help themselves. In fact, if you help people to the point where they become dependent on you, you're likely to end up hurting them, and they'll resent you for it. There's an old story about Canadian geese that migrated thousands of miles each winter to a warm climate and return each spring to the fields surrounding one Canadian village. The villagers loved these beautiful birds and looked forward every year to their return. One spring, due to unseasonably cold weather, the ground was frozen and no food was visibly available for the wild geese. Anticipating their return, the townspeople scattered feed outdoors and built shelters. The intention was to help the geese to survive until spring-like weather appeared. They were so delighted to see how readily these geese accepted their offering that they continued to feed them throughout the spring and summer. However, when fall came, these wild geese didn't fly south as they had always done in the past. Instead, they had become so fat that their wings no longer could lift their heavy bodies off the ground. As the weather grew colder, they simply waddled into the shelters that the villagers had constructed, and as the story goes, they never flew again. We want to help people, but we don't want to make the same mistake that the Canadian villagers did. I always say that each beauty consultant must ensure her own survival. We help her accomplish this task through encouragement and through intense education. Every beauty consultant has access to in-service educational programs that emphasize product refinement, human relation skills, business procedures, and time management. In addition, we have developed a pacesetters class in which sales director selects her most talented performers and helps them earn a very special company bonus with the use of the VIP automobile. When a sales director has helped 4 beauty consultants earn their own cars, she has earned for herself the use of the symbol of superiority, a brand new Cadillac. All right, well, that's not applicable right now, but you certainly would, as a sales director, win a pink Cadillac if you had 4 top consultants that were going to become a director. As I've mentioned, the ultimate award given to the top salespeople in our organization is a large diamond-studded bumblebee. We think the bumblebee is the perfect symbol because, as aerodynamic engineers proved many years ago, the bumblebee cannot fly. Its wings are too weak and its body is too heavy. Fortunately, the bumblebee doesn't know that and goes on flying anyway. At Mary Kay, we teach people how to spread their wings and fly on their own, and I can't think of a better way to help people.